that we are focused in. Oh, hold on. We need our.
The lights are still purple.
Okay. So, like we were saying, lights are going to red. Okay. So now I'm confused. Okay. So lights are going to red. We know what that means. Even if they're purple now, they will be red. So we should not be communicating either verbally or non-verbally. We need to make sure we're focused in on what we are doing because this is a full focus thing, so you know what is expected of you so you can complete it successfully. And we need to make sure that if we are getting help, it is only from Mr. Seymour. What is the only thing that we can get up for? Yes?
To sharpen a pencil or tissue.
No, just one of those two things.
Tissue.
Right? You need to get permission if you need to sharpen a pencil because if I'm talking and you go to sharpen a pencil, that is extremely rude. So, with what we are doing today, and let me grab a marshmallow so this sits up a little higher. With what we are doing today, it is the first part of class is a continuation of what we did on Tuesday. So remember on Tuesday, you all, at the end of class for our exit ticket grapes time, started working on the second part of our grapes chart. Remember that second part is the part where we are ranking things in order. Okay? So, at the end of class, for that last 8 minutes or so, remember you were working on this part here. And I told you, number one, that the facts that we put in here need to be actual things that help you to learn, not just fun facts. Remember, I gave the example. If you put in here, my family and I went to Rome. Well, is that true? Yeah, if you went to Rome, it's true. Is it a fun fact? Yeah. Is it cool? Yeah. Does it help us with the learning goal? No. No, if you would have said, my family and I went to visit Rome and we saw the Tiber River and the Tuscan plains, the Romans used that to help them grow wheat to eat. Would that be something that you could put in your grapes chart?
Yeah.
Yes, because that information is evidence that helps you to meet the learning goal, right? And so remember, the second part here, this is where you had to pick your top 5 out of the 10 facts, and you were putting them in rank order. Now, I had to do that for 2 reasons. First off, let's be real. If I were to just say, hey, everybody, list 5 facts about Greece, some people would just pick 5 things at random, not think about it, just write down the first 5 things that they see and move on and be like, I'm done. Now, if you just pick 5 things and you don't really think about it, is that really helping you? No. Would it make much sense for Mr. Seymour to make an assignment where I'm just like, all right, list things and don't think about it? That's busy work. I wouldn't do that to you. So if I'm having us list things, I need us to think about why we're listing them and why they are important. So being able to explain why you put them in the order that you put them in gives you an opportunity to think about why these facts that you chose were the important ones for you. Okay. Second reason, to be honest, some of our classmates have a propensity to want to cut academic corners and try to get answers in a less than academically honest way. That is a super fancy way of saying some of y'all cheat, right? Respectfully, and this isn't everybody. I'm not saying everybody. That's why I said some of y'all. But we have evidence that some of y'all in 7th grade cheat because, you know, there was a whole thing in 7th hour in math yesterday where some people chose to cheat. Now, we don't need to go into any depth. There were other hours, and there were people who were like, you know, it'd be a really smart idea. Let me tape the answers to the bottom of my shoe like this is a really bad movie from the 80s, right? Now, you all are like, oh yeah, that, you know, people got in trouble for math. I will also tell you, there were some people that thought it'd be a really great idea on the 10-10-10 quiz in here to click out of their quiz, to go to other websites, and to try to find answers, which again would be cheating. Now, we have told you before as teachers that we are able to see what you do on Canvas. Some of us, I think, maybe don't believe that. I promise you, it is true. You don't? Okay. So here's kind of the thing, and here's kind of the evidence.
My friend said he has beautiful canvas.
Well, tell your friend to focus on getting their work done and they don't have to worry about it. But here's kind of the thing. As teachers, we absolutely can see when you leave a quiz. We can see when you answer questions. We can see when you started a test. We can see when you stopped the test. We can see, like I said, when you leave. Now, respectfully, and you know, I'll leave it on this screen, so it's not going to be on the recording. But since you were of the opinion that we really cannot do this stuff as educators and that we are just saying these things, come here for a second. No.
Oh, can I see?
No. She will tell the truth here.
It's REA.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Right?
I'm Stevenson.
You are not Stevenson. Nice try, though. So, does this tell me how many times you tried to take this test? Yes or no? Sit down. Yes or no?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, if I click on this, will it tell me, sit down? We'll come over here, because like I said, this is... So, if you look at this, does it tell me which answers you got right and which answers you got wrong?
Unfortunately.
Now, here's the other thing. Because you're right. This doesn't tell me what you were doing on each test question, right? But, look, if I click... Does this tell me what you were doing, like, pretty much minute by minute, second by second? So, what were you doing at 10 minutes and 11 seconds on this quiz? 2 minutes and 11 seconds. 2 minutes and 11 seconds.
I answered question 8.
You answered question 8. What were you doing at 19 seconds into this quiz?
Answered question 4.
So, we absolutely can see when you answer questions. We can see if you exit out of this. So, was I lying about that, ma'am? No, I was not. So, understand, academic honesty is important. Okay? My guess is when people tend to cheat, it's because they want to get good grades. It might be because of motivation. It might be because they don't want to get in trouble. But here's the thing. The whole point of grades, the whole point of us assessing you is for everybody to know what you know and what you don't know so that we can help you to learn the things that you don't know. So in addition to it being dishonest and not being not having integrity and not being proud, it doesn't help you because we don't know what you know and you don't know what you know and what you don't know. So please make sure that we are being academically honest. Because again, we absolutely can see when you started if you take a test and you're done in 10 seconds, we know. If you take a test and open it and leave the test and resume it, we know. Okay? And again, and I'm not picking on you because this is the whole, like, you're not the only person because, you know, a lot of times people are like, oh, teachers just say that. They really can't do that. They're just trying to scare you all up.
Do you know if it works on quizzes?
So depends on what part of quizzes or what you're doing with quizzes. If it's the actual assessment part of quizzes, yes. If it's the kind of game part, no. Right? But the assessment stuff, yes. Now, we need to get to what we are actually doing today because I need to explain what our assignment is for this first part of class. So from now until you go to lunch, I'm going to explain what you're going to work on, and we're actually going to be picking this up after lunch as well. So remember, last class, that last 8 minutes, you had time to work on this. My guess is you didn't get a chance to finish this, and that's okay. I wouldn't have expected you to get 5 rankings done with explanations in 8 minutes. So the first thing that you are going to do, you are going to finish ranking your top 5 facts. Now, those top 5 facts are going to be facts that you use to meet the learning goal. So that's going to take us to the second part of what you need to do. So remember, for our grapes chart, there are 3 specific parts. There's the first part where you put down all of the facts, all of the things that helped you learn. There's the second part where so there's the first part where you put all the facts, right? And that's going to be here. This is where you are putting the information that helps you to learn. There's a second part where you pick your top 5, rank them, and explain why. There's a third part where you do your reflection.
That's a lot. Wait, what?
So just a second. So the second thing you're going to do, so once you finish ranking and explaining your rankings, you are going to answer this question as your reflection. And this is how you can show that you are proficient with that learning goal for Rome, or for the geography of Rome. Okay, remember the learning goal was I can provide evidence that the physical geography of Greece helped Greece to grow, right? You're going to pick one physical feature that is a landform. Remember, you learned about a lot of those. It could be the Apennines, it could be the Alps, it could be the Italian Peninsula, it could be the fertile plains. And you're going to pick one physical feature that is water. It could be the Tiber River, it could be the Po River, it could be the Mediterranean Sea, it could be the Aegean Sea, it could be the Ionian Sea. You're going to pick one that's land, one that's water. You're going to explain how the land feature helped Rome to grow. You're going to explain how the water feature helped Rome to grow. Now, with that, I'm going to put this here. With that, we are going to continue to use that same format of claim, evidence, and reasoning that you've been using before. Now, the big difference between this and the last questions that we asked or answered were that before when we were working on this, your response was supposed to be 3 sentences. 1 sentence for claim, 1 for evidence, 1 for reason. We are bumping that up. So you're going to make 2 good middle school paragraphs that are at least 5 sentences. Okay? So here's how you go about making your paragraphs more middle school length appropriate paragraphs. So our claim is going to be kind of the same. So I'm going to give you an example from Greece, so that way you can see what I'm talking about. So if I were to pick a physical feature from Greece, my claim would be the physical feature that I picked. So for you, when you do your claim for the landform, your claim is going to be whatever landform you pick, right? If you do the Apennine Mountains, it would be something like the Apennine Mountains helped Rome to grow and be successful in these ways, right? So my claim is going to be the Aegean Sea helped Greece to grow. That's it. That's my claim. That's 1 sentence. The way I start to make this more of a middle school level activity and not a short answer elementary school activity is with my evidence and my reasoning. So remember before, you only had to have 1 piece of evidence to support what you were saying on that little quiz that we took. Okay? So you're going to want to have at least 2 pieces of evidence to support your claim. So I said the Aegean Sea helped Greece to grow. My first piece of evidence was the Edpuzzle we watched talked about how Greeks used the Aegean Sea to travel. Okay, so that's my evidence. Did I explain how the evidence answers this question yet? Yes or no? No. My second piece of evidence. Our class notes talked about how Greeks traded via the Aegean Sea. So again, did I explain how the evidence supports the claim yet? Yes or no? No, I just gave what my claims were, right? And then for each claim, I'm going to specifically explain how that supporting evidence answers the claim. The Edpuzzle that we watched in class talked about how Greeks traveled on the Aegean Sea. My reasoning, my supporting would be, When the Greeks traveled using the Aegean Sea, they were able to go to other civilizations and learn from other people. They also used the Aegean Sea for warfare. Okay? Our notes talked about trade on the Aegean Sea. That's my evidence, the class notes. Greek merchants used trade to become wealthy and to get supplies that they needed because Greece did not have fertile soil. So you see how I say what the claim or what the evidence is, and then I go into detail about how that evidence helps. That's how you make a 2 or 3 sentence answer into a good middle school paragraph answer. You are going to be doing this for 2 things. You're going to pick one water feature. You're going to pick one land feature from Rome. Okay? You may use the evidence from your GRAPESCHart. Now is not the time to go and find evidence in resources and stuff like that. You should not be Googling this stuff up. You've already got that information. Okay? So, last thing, and then I'll let you kind of get working on this. When we did Greece, remember the GRAPESCHart we did for Greece, we didn't turn it in. It was kind of practice so you could get used to the whole idea of GRAPESCHart. This GRAPESCHart you are turning in. Okay? You're going to turn it in after you finish this. I will take a look at it and I will get it back to you so that way you can keep adding to it with our other grades. But you will be turning this in. This unit, our GRAPESCHart, is a practice grade. Starting with our next unit, your GRAPESCHart will be an assessment grade. So, we are going to practice this last reflection part like we would do for an assessment. So our lights are going to be red. You're going to be working on this individually. I am going to start off by giving us 20 minutes. Now, in all honesty, is 20 minutes going to be enough for time for all of us to get this done? No, probably not. Well, let's put it this way. If you get it done in 20 minutes, you aren't doing it correctly. Can somebody please answer that? So, you will have the ability to earn more time by being focused well on our work. So for our class, we are going to start off with 10 minutes before lunch, 10 minutes when we come back from lunch. So when you come back from lunch, you need to make sure that we're getting started or getting right back to work on this. Okay? Are there any questions on what we are doing for the reflection part? So remember, you got to have the rankings done before the reflection. So make sure you get the rankings done because that's going to be the information you're going to use to write your reflection. Okay? If you have corded headphones, you may listen to them while you work. No, I am not going to let you go to another teacher's class to ask for headphones. Okay?
I just put my headphones in my bag yesterday.
Good thing you did.